Okay, so I'm using a HB pencil and I am doing a quick response to the work of Kemi Mai. This is Kemi Mai. Okay, because some of my students are responding to her work. So this is an artist response rather than a thumbnail. A thumbnail would, your own photograph would be here and you would be using the style of Kemi Mai to work on your thumbnail. So how would I start? I would kind of start with the darker bits here. So we've got the eyes, shapes, and then you've got eyelids, and then you've got the little creases underneath the eyes. But in order to do the nose, which was the original question from a student, it's these darker bits that you want to be looking at. Yeah? So let me try that. I'll just start a little bit lower. And I mean, there's nothing to say that you can't do a few little sketches of the hard bits. Now I'm working really quick. I would not expect you to be working this quick. So you can see I've started with these bits. These are the bits where in between the eyes, so the eyes would go here, and I am basically just looking at where the shadow is in order to build a convincing nose. And then I'm looking at the shape of the nostril. The nostrils are kind of roughly triangular, very roughly triangular. So if I do that, and then I can just like rub bits out later on, so then we have a nose like that. Yeah, the whole point of like being in year 10 is to learn all this stuff, make loads of mistakes, but you've got to be spending time drawing and not rushing through it, because if you're rushing through it, you're not really learning anything. So already I've got a rough idea of the nose. Yeah, got shadow here. I'm using HB, and I've also got a 2B because I know most of you have got HB and 2B. And then I'm drawing a line up here. This rubbish, but I'm going to use it because I spent money on it. It's rubbish, don't get one. What is it, Winsor & Newton? You'd think it was good, but it's rubbish. So I've got my line up here. This is like the line of symmetry, and then I'm doing the triangular bit there. And as I said before, we have these darker bits. Eyes, usually a space of an eye between an eye. So you have an eye, and then the space here is an eye, okay? Roughly. So if I do that, then I know roughly that the eye would go there, yeah? So this is a little sketch. This isn't even my proper drawing. This is just a little rough sketch. So I might use my whole page to work out how to draw this. Rather than doing one drawing, I would do a few drawings, because you have to learn how to do it. You're not going to do it and be an expert. You're going to do it and make mistakes. But if you do little tiny sketches, you're going to make less mistakes on your main one. You're going to make them all here, yeah? And I'm a great believer in muscle memory, where your hand remembers what to do, but you've got to teach it. You've got to teach it what to do, okay? So at the moment it looks like a bit of a mess, but I'm just working on bits and pieces. So if I now go here, it's a bit sharp, this pencil, a bit too sharp. So I've got the nose looking like it's coming out of the paper, and then I've got that there, yeah, and I'll rub out these triangular bits using my other free rubber. It didn't cost a couple of pounds, and you see already it's beginning to look like a nose. And it's darker on this side, everything's slightly darker on this side. So I'll do a bit of the eye in. I think she does all this in on a computer. I think this is digital art. I don't know if she's actually painted this actually, you know. So can you see what I'm doing? I'm building up all the darker bits, and this is quick. So here again it's quite dark, isn't it? But I can describe the form by using shade and tone. The form is the shape, is the three-dimensional shape of the drawing. So I used the HB first, and then I've now gone into 2B. Okay. And of course, I'd have to keep emphasizing I am rushing this. I am not taking my time. If this was my own drawing, I would be taking my time. Let's see if I can get this in. So that goes like that. The lip is really high on this one. It's almost like touching the nose. So I've just drawn the line of the lip in, like she has, roughly there, isn't it? Maybe I don't need to do another drawing. Maybe this is clear enough for you. So it goes like that, like that, like that. And sometimes, you know, if you put your piece of paper upside down and draw, that gives you a good idea of what you're drawing, because it becomes a little bit abstracted and a little bit more like just shapes, you know. And that should help you a little bit. So now I'm not really knowing what I'm drawing, I'm just kind of drawing the shapes here, which takes the pressure off of making it look like a nose. I've made the nose a little too long here. So if I was going to do my next drawing, I would realise that my nose is too long. And I've only realised that by drawing it upside down. I mean, you've really got to look at what you're drawing. Forget you're drawing an eye and just think you're drawing a series of shapes. Forget you're drawing a nose and think you're drawing a series of shapes. And then you might actually start looking at what you're drawing rather than thinking that all eyes look the same. Because a lot of people get all that wrong because they draw what they think they see rather than what they actually see. And if you're drawing what you think you're seeing, there's no point. There is absolutely no point. Okay. Right. So there you go. Yeah? So just to recap, let's do it again. I started roughly with this bit, yeah? This bit, and then I went to the nostrils. And I'm working lightly, and I'm actually using the wrong pencil, so. But if your page is full of little sketches and rough mistakes, basically, there's lots of mistakes there. So I've started with the triangle shape of the nostrils and then kind of building up to a triangle here. And I remember last time I did it too big, so I've made it slightly smaller. And then I'm looking at that dark bit, and then I'm looking at the space between the eyes, which is roughly an eye. So I've drawn my eye in there, but it's kind of invisible really, isn't it? You just got to imagine it. And then roughly I've got some eyes there, yeah? So that's my rough start. Yeah? Maybe that nose is too short now. And then I'm getting the outside bit of the nostril. And then I might start drawing a little bit more detail. When I realise that I've got everything in the right place, then I can start going in for a bit more detail and seeing what it actually looks like. Am I happy with that? Yeah, I think I am. And remember to put your drawing upside down. So you're not drawing a nose anymore, but you're drawing a series of shapes. These bits are important. Okay, I hope that explains it. So eventually I would have a little practice, and then maybe I would do another one here. So I'm doing a few on a page. So your page is a series of detailed sketches, yeah, where you've taken your time. I hope that helps. I'm not going to finish that. And